With platforms such as TNT, ESPN, Twitter, and YouTube, there have been a wide variety of NBA analysts and media personalities over the years, ranging from former NBA players themselves to people who have no idea what they're talking about, and a certain someone that made the greatest take of all time. In all, over the course of the years, basketball media and culture has had a wide variety of speaking figures and will continue to do so. Unfortunately, no matter what all of those figures attempt to do in the future, it will never amount to the Avengers level collab we got when this video right here dropped. Now, when I first saw this video, I was a very young kid. I had no idea what I was looking at. I didn't know some of these legends that are in the broadcast. I knew Chris Webber because I was a Kings fan. I knew Reggie Miller. I kind of knew Kenny because I saw him on TNT all the time. But my brain never realized the magnitude of what I was witnessing. For context, the only reason I remember this video is because I was talking about my favorite TNT personalities with my friend, shout out Rosa, and we were discussing who were the funniest members of the TNT broadcast. And we both agreed it was Shaq, even though he strongly disliked San Antonio women.
Oh man, them both big old women gotta learn 2 words down there. What's that? I'm full.
But I've been waffling on for way too long now. Let's get to this monumental video with a brief introduction. Ernie, TNT's host, is hosting a fantasy draft composed of the greatest NBA players of all time in the 2011 All-Star Weekend. Those participating in the draft are all former NBA players, including Charles Barkley, Kevin McHale, Reggie Miller, Chris Webber, Steve Kerr, and Kenny the Jet Smith. Now, the first thing you might realize by the footage I'm playing is that if you look towards the top of your screen, towards Ernie's head, you actually won't be blinded for once by the absolute glare that you usually see emitting from the top of his head during the TNT broadcast, which is the biggest indicator this video was made 12 years ago. Ernie still has hair, and he's not bald as hell. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into this draft. Now, the shenanigans in this draft start early, as the second Kenny's wife comes out to announce some picks, everyone starts flaming Kenny for being ugly as hell, but his wife being fine as fluff. Good lord, look at her. Sorry, that's on me, gang. But the first pick of the draft. You know, we all think it's gonna be the same person, right? Michael Jordan. Nah. Charles Barkley had something different in mind. We decided to pick
Allen Iverson. Wow. Are you serious? Yep.
Okay, that's understandable. You know, he thought it was like an all-star game draft and you need someone to score some points, you know? It makes sense. Surely the second pick will be Michael Jordan, right?
Seconds. Larry Bird, my teammate, 3-time world champion, 12-time
All-Star. Wow. Makes everybody better. Could dominate the game by taking 10 shots. He got 17 points. All right.
Oh my god, the meat riding is crazy. Zip it up and buckle Larry Bird's belt when you're done, Kevin McHale. God damn. Anyways, finally, at the third pick, we have Michael Jordan, who, you know, we should have went first, but didn't. And this isn't even me glazing Michael Jordan. Like, come on, guys. He should have went first. Or LeBron, but this was made in 2011, so LeBron still had some crazy allegations to beat. Anyways, after those horrific picks being made in round 1, this is what the board looks like at the end of the 6 picks. Now, round 2 wasn't nearly as eventful as round 1, other than some minor meat riding going on, once again with Kevin McHale picking another Celtics player, but you know, that was expected. But then we also got Kenny Smith, meat riding Hakeem. But I don't blame him. I love Hakeem. Like, just look at these blocks. God, this dude is definitely a top 10 player of all time. If you don't have him in your top 10, it's not a valid top 10. Hashtag Hakeem is underrated. Alright, now this is the board at the end of round 2. Obviously, Charles Barkley has the worst team so far, and everyone else pretty even so far. So yeah, let's keep it pushing. Unfortunately, again, no good jokes were made this round, and the picks were kind of uneventful besides Charles Barkley pulling Tim Duncan, and then Steve Kerr pulling Kobe. But yeah, other than that, this is the board at the end of round 3. Yeah. Round 3 happened. Now, round 4 is pretty eventful because we finally get LeBron James taken off the goddamn board because Steve Kerr had that future sight and knew that even though he hasn't beaten the allegations yet in 2011, that he would very soon, you know? And also, Steve Kerr decided to make this cornball joke.
This one's pretty easy. LeBron still there?
He is still there.
I'll take LeBron.
LeBron James.
Because you know why? He's young. He's in his prime. These other guys are all really old.
They're all older.
Yeah, that shit was not funny. Keep that shit pushing. I'm just mad that his team beat the Kings like 2 weeks ago. Man, frick the Warriors. Now, this is the board at the end of round 4, and I'm not going to mention it, but something that I've mentioned a few times before keeps on happening with Kevin McHale. Come on, man. You're better than this. Man, round 5 just really brought a tear to my eye, man, with Reggie Miller choosing Charles Barkley, and, you know, such an endearing moment between two, you know, professional athletes. They fist bump each other. It's just a great moment. And then Steve Kerr decides to ruin it when he takes a certain individual. His name will not be said. You're not getting a spotlight, buddy. You played for the Jazz in the 90s. You know you are. In fact, this is the board at the end of round 5. Your name's getting blurred out. On to the next round. Now round 6 wasn't all that eventful besides Charles Barkley becoming done with all of the D-riding going on in this video ever since he picked Allen Iverson at the 1 spot, which honestly the D-riding is deserved from, you know, that horrendous pick. But yeah, listen to this. He's kind of upset.
Ooh,
Wow.
good pick.
Steve Nash, very nice.
Oh, you got Charles' seal of approval for what that is worth.
I'm not worried about that.
Alright, at this point in the video, a lot of plumbers start to get taken, and you know, I know a lot of y'all don't want to see this. Some of you guys might be like 7 years old watching this, so yeah, you're not going to know a single player being chosen. So let's fast forward to some eventful moments, and I'll just give you the round summaries. Alright, right after this round, Charles Barkley decides to say one of the most confusing statements of all time, where he says this.
You are on the clock.
Ernie,
Yes.
big guys, you can never have enough of them. I need a point guard.
So what does that mean?
So like, I really don't get what he's getting at, but he ends up taking Dave Cowan, so, you know, I guess that means something. I don't know. Alright, and then following that, Kanye decides to, you know, try to be smart and pick a player that not a lot of people know about. And then he doesn't even know what position they played. So yeah, shout out Connie Hawkins. Here's the board at the end of round 7. Good lord, I'm already 5.5 minutes in this video and I'm not even done yet. I thought this was supposed to be an easy video for me after that 11-minute video last week. I guess not. Alright, now round 8, yet another uneventful round. Not a lot goes on here. I don't care too much about these players being picked. You know, they're legends and all, but to be honest, I don't care about most of them. But what I do care about is Chuck deciding to pick Darren Williams. Yeah, Darren Williams. In an all-time greats draft, he chose Darren Williams, and he rightfully got flamed for it. Chuck was fighting for his life. He had to bring up all-star appearances when talking to Kenny. I honestly thought Kenny was done for, but then he fought back with this.
That's 2 more than you and Steve.
It ain't 7 more rings than us.
Yeah, he was on his neck. You ain't got no rings, Barkley. Lock in. Anyways, here's the board at the end of round 8. Yeah, definitely a draft. Now to fast forward to Steve Kerr's pick in round number 9, he decides to flame Kenny for absolutely no reason, says that he thought about picking him, but realized he was imitating Josh Giddey when he found out that Kenny's weakness was the sport of basketball in general. Yeah, he said all of this.
I was actually thinking about taking Kenny right here.
I'll take
Were you really?
Well, but I need some toughness, some defense, and some unselfishness.
He was on his neck. Alright, now we're finally getting to the end, as this is the board at the end of round 9. Finally, in round 10, nothing happens besides Kenny decides to take himself like a dumbass, and yeah, let's decide who has the best team when we look at the board at the end of round 10. And I'll tell you, it's not Charles Barkley. Okay, start off with Charles Barkley's team. He gets the last place since his best player was picked in round 3, and then his second best player was picked in round 9. Yeah, that's all I really gotta say. His team is awful. Alright, now the second worst team is Kenny's team. And, you know, it's not as awful as Charles' team, but it's pretty mediocre. You know, when they open it up and Kenny has something to say about his team, he talks about Jerry West. And that's all I really gotta say. When Jerry West is the main talking point of your team, you're kind of cooked. Alright, now we start getting to the above average teams with Chris Webber's team. And, you know, it pains me as a Kings fan to say this, he has the 3rd worst team. I'm not gonna lie. But, honestly, he might have the best team. That would be if Wilt Chamberlain was a real person. 100 points in a game, 55 rebounds in a game, and apparently he benched like 600 pounds and ran like a 3-second 40 dash. This dude was not a real person. Get this shit off my screen. Wilt Chamberlain, fraudulent first pick. He has 9 players on his team. He wasn't a real person. Okay, this is where the picks start to get hard. In 3rd place, I have the Meat Riders team. I have Kevin McHale's team, the Big Green Machine, where he mostly just picks Celtics players. And, you know, it's a team. It's good. Larry Bird, strong number 1 pick. Shaq is a great pick. And then we have people like Bob Cousy. I don't know how he translates into any type of era of basketball besides the one he played in, but he's a winning guy. Kevin Garnett, phenomenal pick. But I don't see this being any of the other teams above it, so that's why he's in 3rd place. But for sticking with mostly Celtics players or all Celtics players, he did a pretty good job, you know. W meat writing. Alright, now in 2nd place, we have Reggie Miller's team, the Boom Baby Daggers. And he headed it with Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon, which is mainly the reason I have it this high at number 2. And he also has David Robinson, the Admiral. Charles Barkley's getting all the rebounds. Ray Allen, one of the greatest 3-point shooters of all time, probably top 3 all time. It's just a phenomenal team. He has Dwayne Wade off the bench. This team is solid. Charles Barkley gonna grab a lot of boards. John Stockton, crazy assister, you know, all-time assist leader. I don't know. He might be the weakest link in that starting lineup because I don't know how his game translates to other eras, you know, if we're playing in a modern era game. But this team is really solid. We have 2 great defenders in the top 2 picks. Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon, some of the best 2-way players of all time. Same with David Robinson. This team, all in all, is really solid. Good shit, Reggie. Okay, now in 1st place, we got Steve Kerr's team. Now, you know, it's quite fitting that the dude who, you know, assembled one of the greatest teams of all time, if not the greatest team of all time, made the greatest team of all time in this fantasy draft. He took Kobe, LeBron, he took Dirk at number 8, he took Bill Russell. I don't know how he translates, but his team is just crazy. If we're talking about today's terms, he did get a lot of steals because, you know, LeBron should have went top 3 if they were to redo this, you know. But yeah, it's kind of obvious that the dude who made the greatest team of all time would end up making the greatest team of all time in this video. So yeah, in totality, that was definitely one of the videos of all time. It was the peak of any TNT broadcast. The one that they tried to do with the NBA Top 75 does not match this at all. They like Quavo out there and Jerry West. There was no chemistry. There were some funny jokes. Oh no, it was pretty mid. They like Shams out there. Nobody wants to see that. Bring me a 2023 edition of this, and I guarantee you everyone will watch this. Get Steve Kerr out there, because I guarantee you this is going to be a banger yet again. Okay, thanks for watching. Catch y'all later. Psych. Yo, I was going to leave without saying the crazy announcement. We hit 10,000 subscribers. Oh my god. It has been under 2 months, and I'm already at 10,000. Woo! Thank y'all.